Hello and welcome everyone to episode 162 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derrick, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm, of course, Brandon Bovia, a letterer of manga. This is built into me.
You just immediately want to say just the kaiju and the Dragon Balls.
Kaiju number 8, Dragon Ball Super. Not technically true. Manga of all various shapes and sizes that you can find all that out there. What was I? Manga letterer extraordinaire. I think that's what I went with a couple weeks ago. I'll try to stick to that, but it is literally just kind of like, I'm ready to, after 162 episodes.
It's you do it for so long. Making that shift is gonna take you a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah. Speaking of shifts, for those watching the podcast episode on YouTube, we've made a little bit of a change for how we record. We're gonna give this a test run because both of us are actually on camera. Talking for this one. Usually we just sort of left it the One Piece visuals speak for themselves. We didn't appear, but we've been steadily growing since we've started this whole venture, and we're so close to actually being able to pull off sponsorships and being able to support this podcast even further than what we can do now, to just make it much. That dream of like something's getting successful, becoming successful, and maybe earning a little extra money from it beyond the advertisements that played during it. That sort of idea. So I got in touch with somebody that handles sponsorships, and they say while the numbers are pretty good, most places YouTube needs a bit of a boost, and apparently being on camera does provide that boost. So you get to see our lovely faces.
I think this is a really funny set to have our faces on camera. This is one of the most insane sets of Dressrosa that we've maybe ever had.
This might be the most satisfying set of chapters we've gone through yet in Dressrosa. Like, this is the set that pretty much had me declare, this might be my new favorite. Like, it's already been building. Like, I've been really enjoying this. I've been really enjoying this. Then this stuff happens. I'm like, did we hit peak? I think we hit peak because this is amazing. Like all this stuff happening. Like I laughed my butt off at certain points. I got invested in the emotional moments that they really pushed forward in this set, and then that ending. Good God!
Yeah,
like what a shift! What a complete shift!
Yeah, it really does feel like, because even comparing it to sort of like previous One Piece arcs, which we've done over the course of us talking about Dressrosa a little bit, because you have DNA of like other kind of prototypical One Piece stories, but like it feels like the most One Piece at any one given time. It is like it is like maximalist One Piece.
Extremely so. And I think with this set, and starting with the next couple of chapters, it kind of has its own voice now, because this is something completely different than we've seen before. From what gets established at the very end. So it's just like, oh my God, that's insane.
I mean, we've been saying this every week. I've been saying this every week. Like I am just, this is way better than I ever remembered. Mm-hmm. So it just has me like, if this is this good, like, what does that say about the stuff after it?
Yeah, I mean, I actually had some people talking to me about this, because I actually couldn't contain it. Usually I don't post on social media about what my thoughts are, but it was just too hype for me not to say anything. And people were like chatting a bit and saying like, reading week to week for Dressrosa, it changes characters quite a bit. It doesn't really, it's hard to keep track. You have that week in between. So the pacing is still good, but you miss out on the sort of like the momentum of it. With our format, we have the momentum, and they can kind of see why Dressrosa is like, oh, this is way better than I remember.
Yeah. And I feel like the opposite is also true too, though, because when you binge it, because I binged it once it was over, and I feel like it didn't land quite the same, because when you're reading something all at once, like you were absorbing information constantly without like stopping to reflect on it. And so I really feel like kind of having a big chunk and then waiting a week for another big chunk, like it is kind of you get all of the best parts of it without like the worst parts. So like this is, I feel like this whole podcast has been primed to like fall in love with Dressrosa.
It's weird. We've said that multiple times, but it keeps being true. So let's not waste any more time and get to our first chapter for this set, 741 Uso Land the Liar, where we have another color spread, very much military themed, and I kind of like the grunginess of it.
Yeah, this is one I really want to see in color. I'll have to track that down at some point. But yeah, God, especially Frankie is just in his element right now.
He looks straight out of Tank Girl.
Yeah, right.
And then Robin looks like she just belongs in Impel Down.
Yeah.
That's just...
We it's very funny. We have the military and this one cop.
Very much so.
Or I guess maybe she's supposed to be like a commander, but
something like that. But it's a fun set. Let's just get into it, because we had some complaints last time. I had some complaints last time, I guess is the better way to put it, because Usopp seemed to have regressed and stopped being, the braver man that we've seen over this time. And he's still running away. He's like, okay, I got away safely. How do I get out of this place? I can't go up the same chute on my own, so there has to be a lift somewhere. And he keeps blaming Frankie because, well, he doesn't remember Robin at this point.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And all the while, Trouble is just like, hey, keep working. Don't worry about this. We got all this handled. So, get back to it. And we start seeing some more of the toys where you can see their inner thoughts, because they can't do anything. It's like, wait, someone's actually fighting back against the Don Quixote family? It's never happened in the 8 years I've been a toy. So please bring this place to the ground. Save us. And that's when the Tontatta start shouting or chanting, Uso Land. Uso Land.
Yep. And Usopp's just trying to run. He's just trying to get out of here. And you're like, ever since, last chapter, like we saw him, kind of, like reject the call to action. And here he is just kind of like, no. He's just, don't call me that.
It also took until this moment, I don't know why, for me to realize why they call him Uso Land. It's because of no land.
Oh, did you not realize that?
No, I didn't realize that until just this section. I'm like,
oh, yeah, that's why. Yeah,
I thought it was just a vocal tick of theirs.
Yeah, that they call everybody Land because they love Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan's just that amazing. And, of course, they're like, who's this guy? And there's like, oh, he's our hero. It's like, your hero? He's going to save you? It's like, no, not just us. He's going to save everyone and everything. That's what he told us. The toys who work underground all day and night, the people who are enslaved in the factory, the toys who stroll cheerfully through the town but are crying on the inside, and even the tragic big people who don't realize they've lost their loved ones. Uso Land will save everyone. He's the legendary hero. And Usopp is just like, no.
Even worse, they're the Tontatta, I guess they're on speakerphone at this point, basically. So everybody, and of course, even the toys slaving away in the background are like, they're getting they're hearing this too. So it's just like compounding all of the guilt on Usopp right now.
Very much so. And Trouble's like, yeah, you guys are just getting tricked again. It's like, look how hurt you are. He's not even coming to help you. That's the proof. He said it himself. He's sitting back safe and sound right now, laughing his head at how stupid you are. And they're just like, no way. In their same typical way. Like, you really start feeling how naive these guys are. It's just
it's sort of heartbreaking because it's so cute. And they're all, so beat up. And it is at this point that, they still believe in him. And, of course, they still believe the lie. And, like, it's actually kind of amazing that, oh God, I'm forgetting this one's name. Leo?
Leo, yes.
Yeah, or he stands up and he's like, "You shut up." Usoland would never lie, and so like
it's the first time somebody's not really believed this whole thing. It's like, because they're so willing to just believe anything that anybody tells them, and this is the first act of defiance, which is, I think. I didn't realize the first time reading through, but it really does cut through. You can see, like, there's a little literal shank into Usopp. It's like, oh God, they're standing up for me because
he's
kind of agreeing with Trouble. It's like, no, I am a dirty liar. Just just hope you guys can escape, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, and then of course, the straw that breaks the camel's back here, both figuratively and literally, is that Treble, he just like starts stepping on him. He's just kind of like, they get a little like yeah sound whenever they get stepped on, and he's just kind of like, oh, that's brilliant. And so poor Leo is just getting like stepped on, and it's just like, again, just twisting that knife, just like Usopp, he's got his hands on his head, he's just like, stop it, no.
You can just hear like the next one in the line will cheer for Usopp to just take up the call, and then you just get that little pia pia, and you just eventually you just hear Treble just constantly stepping on these little guys, and that finally gets through to Usopp to just scream out, just stop it already, where he just reappears. He apparently just ran back because he was running away first. Now he's just back at a vantage point. Is just like, just stop it already. And Robin can see him. It's like, oh, thank goodness he's here. She's very much cheering for him. It's like, and he starts laying into them. It's like, how far will your trust in me go? You're fools. He's right. I've told you nothing but lies. I'm not a legendary hero. My name isn't even Usoland. I'm the sniper of the terrifying Straw Hat crew. My name is Usopp, and I'm just a pirate. And that some of the toys who've been working here know who the Straw Hats are. They're just like, what are they doing here? Exactly. And it's like, and Leo's trying to maintain some hope. It's like, well, you're a pirate, but you're still a hero, right? It's like, no, a pirate is a pirate. Don't make me repeat myself. I've been fooling you all. It's your fault for believing me for every single time. So he's still kind of deflecting blame, but he's trying to lay into them, you shouldn't just trust me at face value. I'm a pirate. I am not a hero. I am what I am, but I still have a conscience. So because they put their trust in me, I'm going to risk my life and go out with a bang. So wouldn't that make me look better? So my name is Usopp. Remember that, Toontatis. If I should die, there'll be a statue next to Nolan's because I'm about to become your legendary hero. I'm going to earn this right.
Hell yes.
And it's a weird thing to go through where it's like a hell yes Usopp. And it also, like, I'm trying to decipher what exactly changed his mind on this. Was it just them, finally, like, stopping the lie? I guess it is. It's like, because he had that lie as a barrier, he didn't feel the connection to them. And that so once the lie broke down, he had that, he got that connection.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, it's, and I think that ultimately, like, he is a good person and does have a somewhat of a guilty conscience. And I actually really like that we did, like, Usopp came clean, basically, right? Like, this was a lie. I've been lying to you all along. I'm sorry, but I'm about to make it right.
He doesn't maintain it and keep fooling them even after this point as the sort of the big thing, the big character development for him. Because he could just keep stringing them along. He doesn't have to reveal himself. He could still step out as a hero and make an attempt. But he comes, as you said, he comes clean.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this was sort of like I feel like he understands that, like, all of their suffering right now is kind of because of him, and they're all doing this because they believed in him, and, like, he just can't take that.
Yeah. Also, I realized what it was that made me realize the connection between Usoland and Noland. Because remember, what was the name of the story about Noland?
Oh,
Noland the Liar.
Noland the Liar.
Which is why we have Usoland the Liar. So I see what you're doing there, Oda.
It all comes back around, doesn't it?
Very much so. But that's where we cut out. It's like, okay, Usopp is making a stand. Great. Let's go back to the whole thing with Doflamingo, who's still trying to figure out what's going on. And like I have some lack of information here. So we just got to report that you were sighted on the first floor. So there's someone else that looks like me on the palace. So.
Kinemon.
Oh gosh. But all the while our soldier has found a sword that seems to be the perfect size that he can use if he gets turned back into human. And Viola is marking that it's okay. My father was fighting in the Colosseum today, so everyone was driven to action after this morning. So, and sort of explain that to Luffy, and we actually get it. I did not expect this. We get a flashback for the soldier for his time as Kyros, like when he was actually human. And
the coolest big thing for me is his starting point, right? Like he's a boy from the slums, here at age 15, and he's a murderer basically.
Yeah, he killed 2 people after a squabble in the slums, and he's fighting with a metal pipe with nails driven into it.
Yeah, the classic.
And he actually attacks Riku. Like he hits him. And Riku is the one's like, no, put down your guns. Do not shoot this boy. And we've noticed all this time that Riku has had this scar on his forehead. Kyros is the one who gave it to him.
I actually didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, if you look,
I see it now.
Saw the little scar. I was like, wait a second. I went back. It's like, oh, it's from Kyros hitting him with that bat.
That's great. That's a crazy detail.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the story here, basically, where like King Riku basically like sees potential in him, and he's just kind of like, I'm gonna put you in a coliseum, and of course like they hate him. The people are they're booing him. They're like, this is a sacred coliseum, but like Kyros is clearly capable. And,
he's
King Riku. He remarks, what was violence outside is potential in here.
Breaking through shields with, I don't even know what he used. It doesn't look like a sword, or it looks like a club. He's brutally strong. And looks like a punk, but also just has this great look in his eyes as far as all it is. But I also love that it's so reflective of Rebecca, where she is jeered by the crowd in the Colosseum just for different reasons.
Yeah,
so sort of and really reflecting of her and her father.
For existing. Yeah.
So, and why did he kill those 2 people? Well, it was a group of them, and they killed his friends. So I killed them back. It is literally gang violence that led him to this point. And Kyros is raising him up from that gang violence. So he hasn't eaten. I'm not sure if it was here. Okay, bring him food. He's like, all right. He hasn't eaten he's beaten his cellmates half to death. He hasn't eaten for 6 days and won't speak a word because he wants Riku. And he's like, what are you, just a beast? It's like, and Kyros is like, I thought you would understand me. He's like, no, bring him food. He obviously has a spirit, so give it to him. And that's when he's given the condition. Win 100 battles and you'll be free. And he's like, oh, how many years will that take? 4 months later.
4 months later. Yep.
So, yeah, he gets that 100 battles and he's free. And that's when somebody shouts at us, like, don't you dare leave, murderer. It's like, you're not leaving? It's like, well, I can't go where I'm not wanted. It's like, oh, when did you seek approval? So.
He just continues to, rack up victories, 200, 300. He's getting people came from distant seas, he's fighting a giant today, a water battle with fishmen. 4 years in the Colosseum, 1,000 victories.
That is insane. I love this demonstration of his strength, because one of the things you can think about is like, oh, okay, he's strong, but how strong are his opponents? Are they just normal people that he's fighting in the Colosseum? Like, they're probably pretty strong. But then you hear, oh, he beat a giant. Oh, he beat a fish man in the water. Yeah. No, Kyros is strong.
And I love it because it's, we've been introduced to him as a legend, and then, seem to, again get introduced to him as like an unstoppable little tin soldier, but like just from this little bit alone, like, no, he is absolutely living up to the legend. But like but of course it wouldn't be that he's just strong, but he still has all this emotional turmoil where you cut to the scene of him and King Riku at a graveyard, and he's just he's like, no matter where I go, I will be a murderous beast for the rest of my life. I just wish everyone would forget all about me. Which
oh, so pointed. That's the reason, because he can't leave because they still consider him a murderer. So he has this thought, like, they only love me because I'm in this cage. If I leave, I'll just be hated. Yep. So if I want to live a normal life, I have to have everybody forget about me. And that's our irony.
Yeah. And you're right that it really does kind of parallel to Rebecca's situation now, which also adds another level to the tragedy.
Very much so. And I'm like, Oda's been on point with these backstories.
Yeah, no, it's really it's become really clear to me that, like, we're getting backstories for what feels like almost everything, even if it's just for like a chapter, chapter and a half. This one, 2 chapters, but like, it makes me think of that line that Frankie and them were talking about, of just like the number of tragedies that have happened in Dressrosa, and it feels like Oda is dedicating himself to conveying every single one of them, at least in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and it builds upon each other as well, because you get Rebecca, and then you get the soldier, and then you get Riku, and so it builds on top of Rebecca's, and then you get the soldiers to build more on Rebecca's as well, and then you finally get Kyros to build on Riku and how this all reached this point. Like I like that the backstories just constantly add to everything.
Yeah, you're kind of like building out the Dressrosa of the past, just kind of bit by bit, which is just wild.
You're getting a history of this kingdom through these characters, and that's pretty great. It's very economical storytelling.
Yeah.
So, but let's continue on with chapter 742, Ever at Your Side, and we get our customary Robin cover, where she's reading about sheep to sheep, and they're all asleep.
No, I hope they're not snoring.
They might be snoring. They're drooling, and they all have snot bubbles. Like, this is a pretty nasty scene, all things considered, with all the snot bubbles and drool.
I hope she can read through all the noise.
I'm sure she can. She reads with the straw hats. That has to be noisier.
Yep.
But into the chapter itself, we learned that he's even defeated the mighty Ricky, a fighter whose appearance was as meteoric as it was mysterious, making it 3,000 wins in 9 years. So he's been fighting here since he was 15. He's 24 now. The previous chapter had him at like 19. So good God.
Yes, with not a single loss.
Yeah, and still
a 3,000 win streak. That is incredible.
And my thought here was like, Ricky, like did somebody else use the Ricky name? And like, nope, it's still Riku. He just used the name again.
Which of course is great and symbolic. That is his final opponent. I love that. Riku apparently got lessons from Kyros. But
that's how he got. That's how the king got strong.
Yeah, I like that. He calls him out as like, the fact that you went easy knowing it was me means you're a failure of a beast. So he's like, all right, join my army.
Yeah, basically, you've trapped yourself in here long enough. Everybody loves you. Nobody cares about the murder anymore. Like, you've proven yourself. Just don't worry about the past. You can find meaning using your strength to protect the lives of others. So a year later, he's 25 now, and you can see him decked out, and he looks boss as hell, where he is the captain of the Dressrosa army. And the ladies love him, calling out in the same way, almost in the same way as our beloved Senor Pink. But one person in particular is not impressed. The Princess Scarlet, age 16. Which I missed the fact that she was... I actually missed the fact that there was that age gap. It's like,
let's set that aside for now. Because I was like, oh, this is a cute little interaction. I missed that on my reading. But yeah, she still does not trust him. She'll, I will not forget the fact that you were a murderer. She's just roasting him. You won't fool me. But it is nice seeing a cute little 10-year-old Viola who's just hey, back off.
And already has her devil fruit. So
that's also true.
Yeah, she's like, no, he's not that. It's like, no, don't you dare peer into his filthy heart. It's like, I have to protect you. It's like, no, don't ever approach us or touch us. So stay away.
Yeah, and that lasts.
It is interesting to see the 6-year time gap between the sisters to give a bit more context. On things.
It is funny that this bit lasts for all of half a page.
Yeah, exactly. She got abducted by pirates. Her guards were knocked out because he wasn't allowed to touch her. So he goes and rescues her, just sinks that ship. There's nothing left of these pirates.
Yeah.
And in the time of having to rescue her, he actually touched her, and she's like, "Oh, forgive me, and I didn't mean to touch you." And then she actually like hugs him and freaks him out because like, I was so frightened. It's like, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the idea of touch, as we'll see here, is also really fascinating too. And like knowing that he gets turned into a toy later, just hitting that tragedy even more.
Yeah. Especially because after this, boy, is she spitting. Because like she's cooking for him, making him lunches. He'll stand guard for her while she's at the swing. And I like that it is over time. We don't know her exact age when they got together, because like she's on the swing and they show it's winter and she goes to hang out with him directly next to him.
I'm willing to buy that.
Mm-hmm. And eventually he's like, you want to leave my daughter's detail? Have you fallen in love? It's like, no. It's like, well, individually people might celebrate your betrothal, but as a group, they will not forgive your prior history. So I'm not sure what we can do here. And that's when Scarlett says, if I can't be with him, I'd rather die. What? It's cute.
Smash cut.
Smash cut to funeral. The fever came on so suddenly. She would have been a great queen. It's like, well, as of today, Scarlett, you're no longer royalty. She faked her death so she could marry him, which explains why she was just in this random cabin in the flower field.
Yeah, all the way out there. Yeah, I once I realized the gag here, I died. It's like, oh, she literally is all right. I'd rather die. Got it. Cool.
He's unsure about this, and meanwhile, she's like, oh, I'm down.
Yep. All right, we're great. Time to go fake my death and have a baby.
Yep, and all the while, Kyrus is like, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. Riku's just like, if it was any other man, I'd be a little upset, but it's you. I'm cool with this.
Man. Pure trust. I could read a whole manga about these guys.
Yeah, it's fun, and especially because I love this. Again, the touch for Kyrus, where he doesn't feel. He feels too filthy to even touch his own daughter. She's too pure and innocent, so I can't sully her.
And it's like, it's one thing too that by this point Scarlett is like completely over it. The whole don't you dare touch me thing is like, all right, it's cool. But like having kind of like that deep seated kind of boy from the slums doesn't understand love quite right, but is still wants to try anyway. It's really heartwarming.
And we even get his line. It's like, I will watch over you, child. I am ever at your side. And it's just like, it's amazing how hard Tin Soldier hits.
Yeah. And, we even have, this cute little scene of, just King Riku playing with
Rebecca.
With Rebecca. Yeah. Yeah. And even at this point, she's, a little bit older, still kind of a toddler, but like Kiro still puts on gloves to play with his daughter.
Yeah.
Like that is how much he can't bring himself to do it.
So smash cut to the tragedy 10 years ago with Doflamingo. The palace is burning. Something's happening to the kingdom. And Kyrus is like, I got to go to the castle. You understand that, Scarlett? If you should encounter any danger here, wait for me at the Red Flower Field. I will come back for you. And we get there, and he somehow got captured, or at least secured, where they put sea prism stone around his left leg. And he's like, what have you done to my king and country? It's like, no, you saw him burn the town on his own, didn't you? No, His Majesty would never do such a thing. So even in the face of all that, does not doubt Riku.
Yeah, which puts him in tears.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, undo these sea prism stone cuffs. I have no powers. And he's confronting Doflamingo directly. He's like, oh no, I want you to join me. There's a new king, and the royal family must die. So your wife and daughter's among them. I already sent my people after them. And it's like, oh crap, my family's in trouble. So he's getting ready to just behead Riku right there. And freaking Kyrus cuts off his own leg so he can make an attack against Doflamingo.
Zoro would be so proud.
Right? That's exactly what Zoro was ready to. He was ready to cut off his own feet to go after Mr. 3.
Yeah. And then, of course, just right in the moment, Sugar just turns him into a toy right then and there.
Yeah. And which explains why he's a one-legged toy. And it's just like,
yep.
I thought it was just a weird sense of the toy to match up with that, but no, he actually cut off his leg. I did not expect that.
Yeah, it's an awesome scene, no doubt.
Oh, it is. It's like the man he respects most in this world is about to die. His family's in danger. This leg is going. I'm saving all of them.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Sugar got him, and it's like he's a toy. But there's also the reason why he wasn't able to be restrained like the others. He immediately, even as a toy, picks up the king, jumps out the window, and saves him.
Yes.
That is the strength, the strength of will that he has.
Yep. But of course, even at this point, he's already forgotten about him. I'll never forget the dip. I owe you. You are a strange toy.
Yeah. Riku doesn't remember him, and he's thinking, it's like, Scarlet, Rebecca, wait for me in the place of our promise. And that's when he starts realizing no one's knowing my name, and the sun is setting. So let's get to the red flower field where they're waiting. And that's when he sees Scarlet get shot.
Yep.
Why is she in town? What happened here? And why weren't you waiting for me? And we see the one who did it, friggin' Diamante.
Of course.
And that's when he realizes, oh, I vanished from your mind as well. So the details, the promises, everything's gone, all the memories. And so he smacks down the members of Doflamingo's crew to try to get to her, and greets her as she has her dying breath, where she has like, my daughter is hungry and waiting. And he's screaming in his mind, it's me, Kyros. He's screaming for her, and without even knowing who he is, she dies in his arms.
Yeah, these tin arms of mine cannot even feel the warmth leave your dying body. It's just, So
laying on the tragedy there. Good God.
Now that we have the full picture, of both Rebecca's backstory and Kyros, the tin soldier, like, just kind of, I feel like it's one thing to have all these little bits and pieces, but to now really see what happened. And I think kind of like we're seeing at the core of what it means to like lose your memories of somebody, and just like what that does to a person. It's brutal.
It really is. All the while, oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name because I don't say it at all. Spiky head dude doesn't like traitors. Is arriving. He's like, wait, that was actually a wretch impersonating the master? How dare! So the Straw Hats have to be on the second floor higher because we saw Via's blood stains were on the wall. And it's like, oh God, we're going to get boxed in. So should I ambush them now before they arrive? But Uso Land might not finish in time. So, what are we going to do? It's like, and I love this, this exchange between him and Luffy. It's like, you're all pirates, aren't you? It's like, even Frauland and Uso Land. I only realized it afterwards. Like, is that a problem? No, I'm also a ruffian by nature. It's reassuring to be among my own kind.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice, good. Actually.
And then we go to the fight itself in the Colosseum, where Burgess is still just wreaking havoc as he's attacking Sabo. Can't quite hit, but the Colosseum's literally coming down around him because of just the fight.
I love that all this chaos is happening. Sabo's like, nice. He's having fun.
We basically have the fight between these two while Diamante is trying to get at Rebecca, who's being protected by Bartolomeo, and he is just taunting her that he was the one who killed her mother. Yep. And it's like, which I don't know if she knew this beforehand, and which is why she tried actually attacking him. But she's also now just so angry that she can't move. So I'm going to assume that no, she didn't know until this moment.
Yeah.
And so
for some reason, I thought we saw him on the scene before the Kyros' part of the flashback. So I feel like I think I said that last week that Diamante was there. So I think I might have jumped the gun a little bit.
I see. I missed it, so you didn't spoil anything for me. So we're all good there.
Cool.
But things are looking bad all around because we go to the House of Toys. Frankie's beat down by the basically took on the three undefeated members, and he couldn't do it. It wasn't enough. He's just praying that Usopp, come on, you always get things done. Start that panic. And the Tatas are cheering for him. It's like Uso Land, and like the people there is like, there's a terrible battle going there. So it's with Usopp and the Straw Hat crew. Good luck. It's like, whatever you look like, Usopp, best of luck to you. If you win, I owe you my life. You can do it. And just all these cheers, all the pirates. It's like, I don't want to spend my life as a toy. This is Cavendish. If you put me back to normal, I'll leave Straw Hat alone. I'll be your henchman. You can have all the money I can arrange for you. Just do it. So all this
all these
hope
guys from the
is being
tournament.
put onto Usopp, and he is captured encased in the stick fruit, and he's just beaten to a pulp.
Yeah.
And rather than turn him into a toy, Sugar decides, nah, you can have your poison grape back. You eat it, and just pops it into his mouth. And he swallows it, and it's so spicy that his tongue twirls, his eyes twirl. It is the most disturbing face that you can friggin' imagine.
And getting front row seats to that face is poor Sugar, who also screams.
Because she thought he was just going to kill him.
Yeah. You didn't know that it was just, it's just spicy food or, hot sauce.
Bulges her eyes out so much that she breaks through the glass over the one eye that was over her one eye. And he's Usopp's passing out from the fires. Flames spew out. She's freaking out even more. And then we get the classic. It reminds me so much of Perona. Where she's just I'm too scared for this. So she gets bubbled up on the mouth and she passes out. And
oh no.
Usopp pulls it off by complete accident, and it's so
in the
perfect.
Best way possible. Yes, it's so good because it really. Yeah, you're right in that it does kind of feel like Perona, and just sort of. I don't know. I love it when like somebody's taken out by their own hubris, right? Like she could have just turned Usopp into a toy, and this would have been over, but. Instead,
you got to it's the last guy. Everybody's cheering for them. We got to rather than erase the memories of this guy they're cheering for, we're gonna make them remember that this failed. So
yeah,
here's your poison.
Yeah,
but God, the funny thing
Sugar's
is,
out.
Yeah, Sugar's out. Chaos is about to be unleashed, as Kyros was saying, and the best of Usopp is yet to come, is all I can say. Good God.
I am so glad that this was right after, we ended on a little bit of a downer last week, and I'm so glad it is like all of the payoff is like right one after the other.
Yes. It's perfect. All right. Chapter 743, Dressrosa Trembles. And hey, we do, as per usual, we get Vivi and Karu back. I love Karu using his Wisdom King of the Peacock style tennis technique. Don't think we're going to win against him. And love Vivi's outfit. She looks good as a tennis player.
I like her hair most of all.
The hair looks good. I love the detail. Do you see her on her wrist, her little sweatband?
Oh, yeah.
It's the
she's
X.
got the X mark. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I love it.
Very good.
Love it.
Very good.
I think I want to say the shorts, the skirt seems shorter than regulation, but I honestly don't think so. I think that's
I was gonna say for tennis,
that seems about right from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But a scream rings out as we get into the chapter itself, and we see all the different toys, and then the Tontatta's freaking out, and then Treble freaking out as Sugar flops over, frothing at the mouth. And he's like, oh no, just Sugar. No, not good. And immediately Robin's, since she was the most recent, she's the first to start going back to normal. We see this freaky transformation and poof, she's normal again. And here's all the toys. Poof, they're all normal again, being pirates. Cavendish is back. All the fighters from the Colosseum, all the toys, all the soldiers that were turned into toys. They're human again, and Doflamingo, he's immediately told of this. It's like, Sugar's been knocked out. I'm sorry, Traffy, and it's Treble telling him this.
Dofi,
like, what kind of bad joke is this? All the faithful servants we gathered over the last 10 years are turning back into humans. The curse of the hobby fruit is being undone. And yeah, we're seeing the transformation take place all throughout. And we see that dog who didn't had to be with his son. He's like, Papa? How could we have forgotten you? It's like, that's how the curse works. I thought I would spend the rest of my life as a toy. And all the toys are being turned into people. And gorillas, because apparently they were transforming animals as well.
I love this because it's like we're learning about all of the thing, basically like anything that moved. Sugar turned into a toy. It's kind of like, oh, yep, we got pirates, we've got former Dressrosa soldiers, government agents, Navy sailors, international dignitaries, wild beasts. It's just elephants, just got a giant snake, a giant lion going on the rampage. Like, we were right. Dressrosa is in... It's just a complete chaos now.
I didn't realize I knew it'd be chaos, but like to have the visual of the kind of chaos it is.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This is like everything is getting flipped on its head in real time.
Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting that Fujitora is no longer with Doflamingo. He's rejoined our masked man that I still can't remember his freaking name.
But Bastille, I think.
Bastille. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah. We don't get an emotion from him, but he's just hearing from this. Is like, I think he's like, yeah, I think I'm done with Doflamingo. Use the sense you kind of get.
Yeah, because he was ready to like, all right, Straw Hat's probably gonna cause chaos. So we'll, he's kind of in the wait and see mode right now, and I feel like he is very much in the C part of wait and see.
Uh-huh. And
that was a pun not intended.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. I was too focused on Frankie just like having his little chuckles, like hell yeah.
Yes, which is also great.
But we also get this great moment of Senor Pink is like that pathetic pint-sized pipsqueak. Talk about Sugar. Then it goes, I only hope she's not hurt. And then we got the girls just from off panel, Senor.
And I love, of course, while all this is happening, Zoro's lost.
Well, he's kind of lost, but he's also not, because he was fighting Pika, and he leaves. Like, he sees this all going down, and he's gone. So Zoro's left alone. And
so he will be lost.
He's going to be lost. Let's be honest. He's just going to be lost. And Robin's just like, hang in there, Usopp. It's like, just making sure he's okay. And the Tatas are cheering for him. It's like, Operation SOP is a success. And all the toys have turned back into their former selves. You got beaten to a pulp just for us. We'll build you a statue. There's no doubt. Like, everybody's beaten to a pulp, but they're crying over him.
Oh, it's so good.
Yep. You are our hero. And all he does, he has one final lie to them. He ekes out a little thumbs up. Just as I planned it.
Yes. It's just like, that's so cool. Look to my friends for the rest. The battle is only just beginning. And he's out.
Yeah. I'll be kind of amazed if Usopp gets another fight, because he is well and truly beaten down at this point.
Yeah.
Which I think with all the other fighters we have around, I think he's okay to step out. Like, I'm kind of okay if Usopp doesn't get a fight.
He did the thing.
Yeah.
And like, that counts for none of this would happen if not for him, even if accidentally. But that's just, oh man, it's great. And of course, Doflamingo's not taken too kindly to this. He's got those veins all over his head. He's just, everybody's trying to get him on the phone. Dressrosa is in a total panic.
Mm-hmm. People are actively calling for Doflamingo's head. Don't be fooled by him. He's a devil. Get the government out here. We need to put a stop to this now. And we go to Luffy's group, and it's at that point he's like, "Where's the soldier?" And he's like, the Viola's immediately like, the Tata's plan worked. I'm like, who's that? Brother Kiros. And one-legged. He learned how to. That being a tin soldier for all those years, definitely learned how to walk on one leg very well.
Yeah, he's moving. He is moving. And of course, we had forgotten Luffy doesn't know what's going on at all. So we basically have to get him caught up. Just gotta that's him. It's like, well, he's a human, And they were all the toys are originally human. Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, no, he's. Mm-hmm. Just like, oh, that's the statue guy.
our memories have returned, and she's remembering like, oh no, that's my brother-in-law.
Right? Yeah, which is wild that. She was watching the toy soldier this whole time, but didn't realize that was his brother-in-law.
Just knew that he was the symbol of hope, and that's when Luffy recognizes the name Kiros, the greatest warrior in the history of the Colosseum. It's like, oh, the statue guy. Yes, that statue is him. He's also Rebecca's true father. So Luffy's just getting caught up on that. It's like, what? She didn't know who he was. Like, no, that's because of the toys. So For 10, like Viola's putting it all together. For 10 long years, he watched over his only daughter to ensure she was not lost and alone, acting as her toy soldier protector, staying at her side each and every day. Which, man, after that flashback, that does get to you.
It really, really does. Like, it is, of course, like, you know, I feel like we had kind of clocked the father-daughter thing pretty early, but, like, knowing what they've been through, knowing what both of them have been through, like, to get to this point, and all of the hard work that, you know, he's gone to raise his daughter however he can, you know, and all of that stuff that, you know, he was saying earlier about, like, all I can do is teach you how to fight. And, like, as a father, like, I'm ashamed. I wanted better for you, you know?
So to have that finally reversed and Riku being like, is that you, Kyros? And basically, like, the Colosseum's in uproar too. Is like, just the audience is in uproar. Who cares? Like, there's no time for a Colosseum match. Like, the tournament's made essentially
they're like,
over.
We're done.
And just, you know, of course, as I said, Riku calls out, is that you, Kyros? And he just says, yes. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting for 10 long years. I couldn't remember a single thing. And that's when Doflamingo's like, wait, you're the guy who... And just, I've come to save you. And cuts off Doflamingo's head. At this point, I'm like, what in the hell?
Yes.
It makes me like...
It's wild.
I'm like... I'm putting it together because I'm like, okay, Doflamingo's not done yet. But how is this working? Like, putting it together, like, is the string fruit actually a freaking Logia type that he's able to...
Right.
Because I'm like, how does that work? And I have theories, but we get more information, so we're going to wait for that info.
Yes.
But it is shocking to see that go down.
What I love, too, is that shot where Kyros is like, you know, he's readying his sword. And I love that he was holding that as a toy. He was like, this is about the right size. But it's framed in the same way where he tried to attack Doflamingo the first time during the flashback.
Oh,
so
yeah,
this whole scene is like, no, like 10 years later, I'm getting my revenge. And I love that Kyros was like, the second I turn back into human, I'm going straight for Doflamingo and I'm going to cut his head off.
The thing is, if it wasn't for Sugar, it might have been successful.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Again,
I love
real
too, sense
of the power of Kyros.
Yeah, I love Luffy peeking in the window. He's like, whoa, Mingo's dead.
But we go back to Corridor Coliseum because, you know, Kyros calls out, I've come to bring back the true Dressrosa. But we go to the Coliseum. It's like, there's wild beasts in the stands. And Diamante's just like, what's trouble done? Why would he take his eyes off Sugar? What a fool. And Bartolomeo is just looking at Rebecca's like, how long are you going to be crying? I'm not a babysitter. It's like, no. I just remembered I have a father.
Yeah. Wild time to remember that while you're in the middle of the fight. And then, of course, I love this, or, you know, Sabo replies to her is like, you know, that was the trick behind this country, Rebecca. There is a core at the heart of everything. Of course, Bartolomeo's like, what nonsense are you blabbering about? And so Sabo's ready to finish this fight. So he covers his hands in hockey. And he says, even this ring has a core. Like, he's looking for a core with his, like, hockey hands. And then he uses Dragon Claw Fist, Dragon Breath, and he demolishes the entire ring.
Yeah, it's gone. And and even Burgess is thrown off. It's like, there's no foothold. What have you done? And it's like, no, I've got some business to see to, so time to win this. And that's when, of course, Koala gets a call from Hack. I was like, he's heading underground now. I heard an incredible noise from above. Not more of his lunacy. So I was like, Sabo's known for doing this.
Yes, I was going to say. I feel like, in what we're about to see, like you see a lot of the Luffy in him.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
These brothers are definitely the same. Like, yes, we see that same spark in it. Oh, I love it
very much so. Also, as a fun little note, because it was something I did realize. The thing that Sabo does to destroy the ring actually has an explanation.
Oh, huh?
Yeah. That is a thing we'll get to later.
I'm quite curious about that. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we do have an SBS before we end things off. And people love coming up with these admirals that could have been. Because here we get Chetan, or Brown Pig. and this is what he's like, and he has this he's in love with the dynamite naval admiral Momusagi, but she doesn't notice him, and he's like, no, there is a vice admiral Chaton. This is kind of what he'd be about in my sketchbook. In fact, I actually was considering making the next group of admirals based on on a pig and a kappa, the water imp. That way I'd have a monkey, pig, and kappa just like in Journey to the West. Instead, I went with tiger and bull. So there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it. I'm like, I don't know why.
Like I don't know why either. And I've seen, like, I know what Ryukugu looks like. I don't
There's
know
some
what
sort
the
of theme there that
is.
we're not aware of.
743 bonkers chapter. Absolutely.
Yes.
one of the most bonkers chapters. And maybe the whole manga.
When you read this, and you messaged me before I had a chance to, all you said was they just squeezed about 10 chapters worth of stuff into 5 chapters, and yeah, it feels it. But the thing is, it doesn't feel rushed. I think that's the thing. It's just so many payoffs are happening at once. Yeah,
very much so. It is, and it makes for, I think, just one of the craziest episodes of this podcast I think we've ever had.
Mm-hmm. I think having everybody turn back from toys is the key thing, because the chaos fits.
Yes,
having a faster pace fits for all this.
Yeah, and that makes you think too, because I guess, I mean, obviously there were a lot of factors that went into this, but knowing that all of the toys were originally human, and knowing how long this arc is, it's like, okay, now how, like, is that something that we're gonna have to work through, like, all the way to the end? And it's just kind of like, no, we're here and we have a lot of time left, and now it's just time. We're gonna soak in all the chaos.
Let's do it. Speaking of let's do it, chapter 744, Revolutionary Army Chief of Staff.
As if things couldn't get crazier.
Right. But here's what I do love. We're not finished with the request yet, as far as what fans want to see. We're used to getting Vivi and whatnot, but we're expanding to something I did not expect. Kuzan. Yeah. Kuzan and this penguin camel eating shaved ice and getting brain freeze, which is just cute.
It is.
But
really
I love
cute.
we can really go out for requests now. We're not just limited to the straw hats.
Limited to the straw hat. Yeah. So I don't know who we're gonna see, but I'm really excited to see who Oda picks, because it really feels like with Kuzan,
floodgates are open.
Floodgates are open. Yeah, it could be anybody.
Yeah. But we go into the Coliseum as the ring is utterly destroyed. The water level's falling too. The people are evacuating, so we can't guarantee the safety. It's like, let's just get out of here. And Burgess is in the water.
He's out. He gets bonked with a bit of. With
oh yeah, I missed that he got bonked by. I thought he was underwater. I saw the water, but I missed the stone hitting him on the head.
Yeah.
And Rebecca's accidentally choking Bartolomeo as he's trying to stay out of the water, and Diamante is a bit in the water as well because his power is not working. So, and he sees where Sabo is going. He's like, wait, no, that prize wasn't actually meant to be given away. But nope, Sabo's there, gets to the fighting fish, rips open the chest with his hockey, and there's the flame fruit. And he is the winner.
I love he's just gonna like, I win. I'm taking this.
He had a plan. He executed on that plan, and he is the winner. Yep. As our announcer says, it seems trivial now, but amidst all the chaos, one contestant has seized the flame fruit, the darkest of horses in this tourney. And as Sabo's taking a bite, he's like, ugh, this is gross.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah. Lucy wins, and he immediately saves Rebecca. Doesn't worry about
Bartolomeo. Yeah, leaves him for dead. You're a man, you can fend for yourself. And then, I mean, because I had always posited, like, okay, they were using the flame fruit as a trap, right? Like, so maybe it wasn't the real thing. Maybe it was just bait to get Luffy in there. But no, we see it. Sabo's hand is on fire, and he's just like, wait, I don't actually feel the heat. My mind's playing tricks on me. I turned into the fire.
It's cool to see him come to grips with how the flame fruit works. And Burgess is like, oh, God, he ate the flame fruit. And that's when, with him ripping off the beard, he's like, wait, isn't he the revolutionary? And here comes Koala, ready to provide the outfit. And he's like, I don't have time to come up with my own moves, Ace, so sorry, I got to use yours. Fire fist. And just straight down into the center of the Coliseum.
I love this moment so much, man. I love that Sabo actually got the flame fruit. I love that he is actually carrying on Ace's will, and
that is one thing I did not get spoiled. I had no, I figured at the point when he showed up, but I did not know leading up to that for Sabo, and to see that he's carrying on part of Ace's legacy is so good.
It is so good. Yeah, it is. We'll get to a little more of him later, but yeah, no, he's one of my favorite characters for a reason.
But with that, the water is drained, the Coliseum is destroyed, and they are getting ready to fall straight into the Smile Factory.
Yeah.
Treble is not happy. He is ready to take care of them, and they're in run mode. It's like they're grabbing Usopp, they're getting out of here.
Yes.
Don't let him lay a finger on Uso Land. And so it's good. I'm like, I got kind of excited for this. It's like, oh, it's going to be Robin versus Treble. This ought to be fun. And she's able to bring up some stone to block his stick fruit. But that's not quite the end of it, because a giant shows up and kind of interrupts this whole thing, where the giant actually takes hold of Usopp and is like, I love he gets this respect from a giant again. Usopp is constantly getting respect from the giants. I love it so much.
Although maybe not in the way that he wants.
Not really. And he just like, look what he's done to himself for our sake. I hear that some of the toys were like that for an entire decade. The weight of such suffering. If it wasn't for you, we might have been toy slaves forever. We owe you our lives. So look closely, warriors. Gaze upon the face of the man who has undone our curse. Our hero, and his name is Captain Usopp. And he lifts him up in a cross pose. And everybody's just like, the roof is caving in. The light of the heaven is shining down upon them. Was he sent from heaven for us? Are we witnessing a miracle? And there's tears in everybody's eyes. They look upon Usopp as he's just kind of passed out.
It's so held
between these giant fists.
I just love it. He's so divine.
And the part that got me the most, where I was wheezing laughing, where he seems to be eking out, "Follow me and I will guide you." In reality, what he's trying to say is, fool, lower me down, unhand me. I have blood spilling down my face, big guy. Do it, you jerk.
That line had to have been a translation nightmare.
I'm sure it was.
I'm glad that they figured it out. And even the best part, that they start calling him God Usopp.
This is buggy levels of events.
It really, really is. But it's also like, because we had remarked earlier, when Usopp had met the Tontadas, and it was like, oh, kind of through lying, he has built his own army, and now all of like the fighters from the Colosseum are now like, you are our savior, Usopp.
Yeah, we are for you, and what must we do, mighty God Usopp? And he's just like, in that case, destroy the factory behind us and rescue my little friends. And like even the like two crazed guys are like, as you command, let's do this. And the Tontadas behind it, like he's just unleashed an army on the Smile Factory.
It's awesome. It is so good.
It's so great.
The legend of God Usopp is only just beginning.
And down here as well is Burgess and Diamante, who we can see the full effect of his ripple fruit, which is pretty wild to see.
He could just slink away.
It's like a snake.
Yeah.
And here comes Bartolomeo, who is like, that was kind of messed up, sir. Just because I have a barrier doesn't make me invincible. And Rebecca had no idea this was all underground. And
and then of course, we get the full breakdown of what happened. Who are you? What happened to the original Lucy? Meanwhile, Sabo's just like,
gotta put my hand out. I gotta figure this out. This is different. Yeah. And it's like, oh no, the first Lucy was the 400 million man, the future. I love this. The future king of the pirates, Straw Hat Luffy. Pirates is like, and my little brother. nice to meet you. And that's when we get proper introductions to Revolutionary Army Soldier Hack and Revolutionary Army Chief of Staff Sabo. And God, I love his full look.
Yeah, dude, right?
the pipe on his back. And, it's like, I love that him and Koala have this sort of steampunkish look to it, which I'm still kind of a sucker for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think they rock it really well. God, I feel like especially considering that this is about like 2014, that was probably like peak, or maybe not peak, but like I feel like steampunk was still kind of popular as an aesthetic at that point.
Mm-hmm. And it works so well for Sabo. And
yeah.
And honestly, Koala.
Oh, yeah. I feel like, because they say it on the next page, but worth pointing out here, Sabo's number 2 in the Revolutionary Army.
That blew my mind.
Yeah. He is the chief of staff.
He is, the only one above him is Dragon, and...
Yes.
Good God.
Yeah, it's so dope. That's so dope.
And I love this reasoning. Why are revolutionaries here? It's like, well, the weapons leaving this port are aiding wars around the world. We came to put a stop to that. Our army has sent soldiers to this country on many occasions, but they were always turned into toys, preventing us from exposing their black market business. And that's when the people watching is like, oh no, that's Sabo, the number 2.
Yep.
But turns out the weapons are being manufactured elsewhere. So where are they coming from? That's the big question. So if we can figure that out, I've got a very nice prize to bring home to Dragon.
Yep. And then
I love that he just has that connection to Dragon. It's so good.
It's right. Again, it's just that random little during the post-war flashback is just like he just randomly bumps into Dragon, and now suddenly he's number 2. I mean, and I feel like, of course, having knowing Luffy is becoming an infamous pirate, Ace was one of Whitebeard's, like, one of his commanders, division commanders. Yeah. So of course Saba would grow up to be amazing in his own right too, which is it's just awesome. And also I loved it, like we got the demonstration, like, oh no, Sabo is actually like ridiculously strong. Yeah. Just with hockey, like his hockey is nuts, and now he has the flame fruit. He is going to be unstoppable. He might be stronger than Luffy. It's hard to tell. Yeah. Who knows at this point?
Yeah, we don't have a full view of power levels, for lack of a better word, at this point. So, But we go back to the palace as Kyros is still tearing everybody up. It's like, this is not possible. He's only got one leg. And look what you did to the master. And he gets right on top of that. I forget the
Buffalo.
Buffalo takes care of him. Like he takes him down, no issue. Which Frankie did that earlier, so it's not too surprising.
Yeah, but no, it's awesome watching Kyros just completely wreck shop up here. And then I like that Luffy actually gets to Law, who is no longer unconscious, and he's just like, you weren't supposed to come here, Straw Hat. What about the factory?
Is it destroyed? He's like, and here comes Viola's like, oh, here's the key to his cuffs. Like, oh, you're well prepared. It's almost like you could see what's coming. Go figure. And of course, the guy who hates traitors is like, don't you lay your finger on the master, Violet. And then he sees like, oh no, young master, that's not good. But Kyros frees Riku. And Law is still insistent. It's like, I hate to disappoint you, but our alliance is done. It's like, no, that's so selfish. Only I get to decide that, so you shut up. It's like, who's being selfish now?
Shut up, I'm trying to save you. And Law's like, if you set me free, I'll kill you. And then he's just like, don't move.
We can't touch the Sea Prism Stone, so unlocking this is going to be a little tough.
Oh, as you can tell at this point, their dynamic is just going to be so good.
Mm-hmm. But then we have just a wild moment where here comes Pika, who picks up the head, and all of a sudden Doflamingo's head starts talking while it's off his body.
Yes.
It's just like, oh, things have gone worse than I ever imagined. It's like, wait, he's alive? What does this mean? It's like, this is a very, very bad state of events. I'll have to use the birdcage, won't I, Law? And Law knows, like, wait, the birdcage? And that's how we end. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, how is he alive? Yeah. How did his power allow him to do this?
We're going to get the explanation, I think, next chapter.
I'm down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but it is such a crazy, things are moving at a completely unprecedented pace, and I don't think they explicitly say it. Since we're about to see what the birdcage is like in this next chapter, but I do like that we kind of get the implication that like Law knows what it is, and it doesn't seem good.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Law's flashback at some point. It's gonna happen, but oh my god, it's so good. It's like, what a ramping of stakes, and I feel like this one is definitely like the perfect place to almost end it. I almost forgot though. I'm so excited to get to the next one that I forgot that we still have an SPS to talk about.
Oh, right.
Oh wait, no, we don't. I skipped ahead. I skipped ahead to it. I jumped ahead and messed up. That's all right.
Oh, well, good.
But yeah, exactly. I can't wait. Let's just do it. Chapter 745, The Birdcage. Not the Robin Williams movie. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is kind of a silly name for I'll have to use the birdcage. Oh no.
And we do it. We have another color spread. Came up quick where it's laundry day. Where everybody's washing all the clothes. And of course, some of them are just joking around. But I did get a bit of a laugh at. There's a lot of fun ones. Is where Frankie has a water cannon and spraying everybody down. Luffy up into the bucket onto Sanji's head, so he's getting chased by Sanji. But in the background, Brooke is trying to like, oh, I'll help you with the underwear.
Of course.
And Robin's putting a stop to that.
That might be actually the most angry I've seen her.
Really is. Very cute one.
Yeah,
but
a lot of fun.
Let's get to it with the chapter, like what's in the chapter itself, where we're in the Smile Factory, and the workers there are like, what are we gonna do? The former toys are attacking the factory, and without a key, well, they ain't setting a foot inside. So this is the young master's lifeline. It's made. The entire thing is made of sea prism stone.
Holy crap!
Wow. So even the ceiling falling in couldn't put a scratch on it. And we've got two supreme officers watching over it. So yeah, here's Diamante in trouble, and they've already knocked down a ton of people. Like,
fair enough. Getting to the factories, getting the factory's not going to be easy. Clearly,
yeah. It's not as easy as like Usopp like sends the army after them. Like there's definitely going to be more to it. But we also like at the trading point get a reunion where like Koala knows Robin, and she's like giving her a big old hug.
Yeah, and again, it seems like like I posited last week. It's just like, or a couple weeks ago, where it's like, did Robin know Sabo was alive? And I love that she's kind of like, like, look, Usopp, they're friends. Usopp's just, oh.
It's like, I'm Usopp. You can let him rest. It's so adorable. I am so curious about her time with the Revolutionary Army. Mm-hmm. Like, but we go to the lift, and here comes Kinemon, who everybody thinks is Doflamingo because he's still dressed as Doflamingo.
I love how much this disguise is working. It's still nobody's caught on yet. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. And at the Royal Plateau, Zoro's trying to find where Pika went. It's like there's something going down here. He has no idea what's happening right now.
No clue.
He just knows
Absolutely
Pika escaped.
No clue. Yeah, all right. He's locked in. He's got one opponent.
Oh my gosh! But Pika picks up Doflamingo's head at the palace itself, and Kyros demands like, "What is this sorcery? How are you still alive?" And oh god! All of a sudden, another Doflamingo shows up behind Kyros. It's like, want me to show you how to really behead a man? And like he goes for Kyros' head. It's like, oh no! And we flip the page, and the entire it's like freaking Law in the last arc.
Punk Hazard.
Oh
yeah, just completely cuts the ceiling in half.
Of everything, just out to take him out that much. But fortunately, Luffy was quick enough that he put him down to the ground and escapes it. And that's when we see that there are two Doflamingos.
Yes. And well, not only that, the interesting thing is that whatever is going on here, not even Baby Five doesn't know.
Yeah.
And not even Buffalo last chapter knew.
Yeah, he kept this extremely close to his chest. And it's time for our first fight between Luffy and Doflamingo, where he goes for his gum jet Gatling, but Doflamingo has his armament hockey, and it's not quite enough. And especially Luffy having to deal with two of them, the headless Doflamingo shows up behind him, using the string to scratch him in the back, like get him across the back, and here comes an armament fist straight into Luffy's face, pretty decisively putting him down.
Yes.
It's like, okay, that's how you make Doflamingo even more of a threat.
Yes. And
it's seems, a 2-on-1.
Yeah. And I love this here because Viola notices that it's the second one is a marionette made of string.
I've never seen him do such a thing. She never realized that I think it's safe to assume that that Doflamingo has always been in the background and let this string version do the everything.
Yeah, again, we're talking just like backup plans on backup plans, and that was probably why he was so chill about everything. Where he's just kind of like, all right, I'll let my body double handle it.
It's an impressive piece of string to be sure. Like, good God.
Which again, also, I feel like we are learning more new depths to the lengths of Doflamingo's abilities. Like the string fruit doesn't sound all that crazy on paper, but the ways that he's able to apply it is just completely nuts.
And he declares at this point, it's like, hey, Riku, you remember how it felt on that night 10 years ago when you cut down your beloved people and burned their towns? It's like, yeah, it still gives me nightmares. Oh, well, the massacres that's about to happen won't be nearly as minor. It's like, oh no.
Boy. Yeah.
And he's like,
Doflamingo's done.
Yeah. It's like, what are you planning? Oh, I'm going to set you free. Pika, expel the rats. And I love this. That Pika's ability, like, we don't have to worry about a full-on fight of Luffy versus Doflamingo at this point. He just takes all of them, scoots them out, just shoves them all out of the building.
Thankfully, Luffy's able to give everybody a soft landing.
Brilliant way to extend this. It's like, I'm not upset by this. It's like, okay, Pika is a literal wall to get around.
yeah, he's going to be part of the problem too. And then it's like, we can't reach Doflamingo as long as Pika's with him. So I feel like we have now reached the part of the One Piece arc where we have to get to the villain.
Very much so. But the ways in which it's set up is amazing, because we have the string version of Doflamingo put his head back together so that there's still two of them. He is smiling like crazy because I think he's ready to dole out some punishment. Mm-hmm. And they got to figure out a way, and it's all of them. He didn't even keep Law around. He shoved Law out as well, which is interesting. But he's kind of terrified by this. It's the birdcage has begun. So before the truth of what's going on here can get out, he's going to massacre the entire populace of Dressrosa. And it's a huge city, a huge island. And you start seeing all these strings start waving out from around it all. And the pirates are trying to escape. It's like, we're getting off this island. We got to go back. We're not going to even try to get back at him. We just got to run. And they try to go get away from him, this pirate. And as he gets close to the string, his beard gets cut, his chin gets cut, his hat gets cut. You try to touch these things, you are immediately going to get just dissected.
Yep. These strings are blades. And I feel like it is now that we are seeing the birdcage in action, I feel like you probably have a good idea of like how the second half of this arc is going to go, right? Like, it is, we kind of have our ticking time bomb. We have Doflamingo basically, I'm going to commit genocide. I'm going to kill this entire island. And it just really feels like, not like the scale and the stakes. I feel like I can't think of anything that's been on this level in One Piece before.
It's a very different feeling to something like Skypiea, and what that was all about. But the crazy thing is it even blocks signals going out to like headquarters. So the Navy can't call into anything. We can't reach base. We can't report anything. And well, I'll raise that theory later as we get to the more important stuff, because not only is he creating this cage, he's using parasite on a bunch of people. So now random people are just starting to fire on civilian homes and just randomly taking control of people and having them massacre each other. All the while, the Royal Plateau is sinking and the Smile Factory raises up, and they're basically reshaping the entire palace in order to have it rise up with the Smile Factory away from everybody. And they've got to they now have to find a way to get to it. And even Flower Hill is getting taller. So,
and it's worth noting this is all Pika.
Yes. Pika and all the stone. And wow. the massive show of power here, where we can see we can see in the center now, there's the Smile Factory, how big it actually is. There's Flower Hill and where it is. And he gets on the video and just says, "Let's be real. I could have rolled with an iron fist from the start, but now that you know this truth, a great number of you no doubt wish to kill me. So let's make a game where the object is to kill me. I'm in the palace. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to hide. Take my life and the game's over. But there is one other way for the game to end. I'm going to give you a list of names. If you can manage to bring me all of those people, you win. And on top of that, each head will be given a considerable bounty. It's kill or be killed. Every man, woman, and child in this country is a bounty hunter. And the only way to survive is to seize yourself a bounty."
Wow.
Oh, we just raised the stakes in a major way. I love how
we finished the tournament and then Doflamingo was like, "But I want a second one though." But what if there was a second one where you all killed each other?
See, that's the thing I just had a thought of, and I don't know if he'll execute this. I have a feeling not, but nowadays I can almost imagine he would.
Ooh, let's
hear because of just the trends of the times of the days. The birdcage is almost a perfect setup for a battle royale, where he's literally over time. Like as soon as you said there was a time limit, I was like, oh God, is the birdcage going to start contracting eventually and just start killing people and forcing them in further and further together?
Yeah, I see what you're cooking now.
Oh no. Dude wants to play Fortnite.
Yeah, I was going to say Fortnite just a couple years early.
Kinda.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I feel like, again, we were talking about just like how much the status quo and how much things are constantly in flux in Dressrosa. And now it feels like all of the subplots that we've been running with for the past 45 chapters, we're all kind of done. And now everything's kind of converged into this one plot line.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's like, oh, next set is going to be the actual halfway point of Dressrosa. But you can imagine there's probably a good bit of wrap up after this is all taken care of. This feels like the halfway point. Like this is like, oh, here's a shift.
Yeah, 100%. And what I like too is that we took all of this time to establish all of these various factions, again, the Tontadas, the toys, the folks in the tournament and stuff like that. And now, again, like what we talked about, with God Usopp, and they're all like, "We will die for you." You are our Lord and Savior.
But will they though? Because now there's bounties of there, and I can't help but notice that the Eggman looking guy is looking kind of excited at the fact that he's getting a bounty.
Yeah, he's like, there's definitely going to be, who's going to betray who's going to, I think a battle royale is kind of really apt for what this next section of the story is about to be, and I do like that Doflamingo kind of comes clean and it was like, I could have just been a tyrant from the start if I wanted to, but I also think there's also something very Celestial Dragon of putting people against each other, and he's all the way up here, so
fight for my amusement, reach me. Yeah,
exactly right. He's gonna watch the worms squirm. So I'm excited to dive into this next section of the story, because I think things are about to get really good, as if they weren't already amazing already.
Like I said, I was losing my mind enough that I had to go to social media. Like just like get it out. Like good God, this set of chapters was so good.
It really, we could have not asked for a better end to the first half of the story.
Really couldn't have. That being said, real quick, we do have the SBS where somebody basically is like, wait, is that koala from the I was rereading the Fishman Island stuff to look at Shirahoshi and I realized that koala is the same. Is that her? It's like, yep, that's the same. I didn't want to make it so you have to, no, you can just treat it as a new character and be fine. But if you pay attention, you can see the sort of the where it is there. And I like this. The people of the Revolutionary Army all have their own reasons for opposing the way of the world works. But if you look at her title of Assistant Fishman Karate Master and where she started, you can see what kind of life she's been through, and it brings a tear to your eye. To me, koalas live the exact opposite life of Hody, and that makes her very meaningful for me. And I love that from Oda.
I love that he pointed that out.
Mm-hmm. It's very heartfelt until we get to our next question. It's like, so I'm a shark-loving 24-year-old woman. Sharks are famous for having 2 penises. Does that mean that Hody has 2 penises too? How many penises do you have, Oda?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. And they were just like, wait, they have 2? I had no idea. That's well known. Okay, I've drawn a ton of sharks, but I've never knew that. So thanks for the tip. Okay, in that case, so yeah, Hody, yeah, he's got 2. Sure.
Okay, cool. Why not? I love that, like the consistency of every single one of these. The so and so parts work like this, and he's just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like people are just very curious how genitals work. It doesn't matter whether you're a boy or girl. You just want to know how the genitals work in the One Piece world. So fine. It's the one commonality between all One Piece fans, apparently.
To end this on a slightly positive note, I do like because we see the young koala and adult koala here. I like that she kind of has the same like crooked smile. Yeah,
I love the consistencies there. It's a nice age up where she mostly looks the same.
Yeah,
just thicked out. It made her neck a little thicker, and I'm a sucker for that kind of trendy hat. So
yeah.
I really like her design, but
yeah, it's great.
I love this. This might be my favorite set we've had since Dressrosa started.
That is an extremely high bar.
Yeah.
That is an extremely high bar.
From finally seeing what Sabo looks like to getting the next stage to the Usopp stuff, just the backstory for Kiros, just firing on all cylinders in every way. And good God.
Every single one of these is just straight fire. And it feels like we're all these payoffs, all of that. I'm glad that the Usopp stuff was really just like right after, kind of
thank God.
resolving that, just that slight mild disappointment and turning it around into one of the best Usopp gags, frankly.
Very much so.
Having him be the key to this whole operation, whether he wanted to or not, is just.
And if he didn't like how he's acting, at least he got beat up for it.
Yeah, so, right. Yeah,
so he got a little bit of comeuppance.
And I feel like he's done his job. I don't think he's like out yet. There's like 1 or 2 things I kind of remember.
I'm sure he can do things here and there because we know how healing works in One Piece. He'll be kind of up and about at some point, but
yeah,
it's going to be interesting how the setup is going to lead into future fights because it really does feel like it's time for nonstop action.
Yeah, I think action and backstories is probably that's probably the next like 50 chapters.
It sounds about right. Right. I have no idea how it's all going to get laid out. I cannot wait to see what it's going to be like. Just friggin' wow.
This arc is great. What can I say?
It really is. So with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 741 to 745 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube or simply BitNerd on BlueSky. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I am Brandon Bovia on Twitter and BlueSky, talking about anime, manga, games, and my job. I binged Monster Hunter last week. It's
nice.
Great. Go play it. Yeah, that's great. Can't wait for more One Piece next week. I'm so excited.
Oh, same. Absolutely same. So yeah, if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derrick Bittner. That's DerrickBitner to listen to the next episode ad-free 3 days early, as well as patron exclusive bonus episodes, including our latest one, which is going to be us talking about, creating a tier list of the title page stories so far, our cover stories. Which one's the best, which one's not so good. So look out for that over on Patreon.
At this stage, I have no idea how it's going to shake out. So
yeah,
you won't want to miss it, folks.
Nope, not at all. So yeah, make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 746 to 750 of One Piece. So until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Don't you understand? No matter where I go, for the rest of my life, I'll be a beast, a murderer! I wish this world would forget about me.